Hi, and welcome back to meetrabbits.org. I thought we'd take a quick minute today to talk about what I consider to be the real problem with winter weather and raising meat rabbits in the winter. So if you saw it, there was a video the other day. We had 9 inches of snow, and I talked about how the rabbits were faring in that, and of course it was no big shakes. I don't even know that they knew it was happening because they're in the barn. But that is not the winter weather that I get too concerned with. I don't even get too concerned with weather in the teens, 20s, or even down to 0. When we start to creep down to 0 or a little lower, then I start to take a few extra precautions and pretty limited precautions, just the same general clean, dry, covered, out of the weather. And if they need it, I'll throw an extra armload of hay in the cages if I feel like it's going to be that severely cold. But even that is not a big deal. It's more of an issue if I have young kits. I might keep an extra eye on their nest box, change it out a little quicker so it's that much drier, whatever. That's a little beside the point because that is not what I want to focus on today. What I'm talking about today, and this is what I consider to be the bigger problem in winter weather, is this. So I had 9 inches of snow days ago. We actually got a couple more inches after that. We were lows down in the teens, highs of less than freezing, probably around 29 to 30, 32, depending on the day. And today it's raining. We're 40 degrees in the morning and we're going to get up to 60 today. And that is a huge temperature discrepancy. And obviously the moisture, all that snow's melting. We're getting 2 inches of rain. It's foggy, it's moist. It's just not nice. So why is this a problem for rabbits? Well, I wouldn't say this is just a problem for rabbits. And this is not, I don't want to be alarmist and say that this is something that they can't deal with. Certainly they can deal with this. But I actually take probably more precautions with this than I do when we're anywhere between 0 and 30s. And that's because mostly your air quality can get pretty low, and I feel like people feel like that because it's winter, they want to block everything up. They want to protect them from this cold, moist air, and that's typically the wrong thing to do with any type of animal. So what I have done in response to this is open the door for the day, get some airflow coming in here. Yeah, that's going to bring a little bit of that humidity in here with the air, but the ventilation and the flow of the air through the barn is more important. And none of the rabbits, no one's getting rained on, no one's getting wet here. I've opened up a couple of my windows. I can crack them. I can actually take them completely out. This is only going to last a day, and then tonight we're going down below freezing, so I'm just going to crack them, leave them open, and then this doorway goes to the front of the barn where there's another full set of 2 sliding doors open. So we've got a lot of airflow and ventilation through here, and that to me is number one. Other thing right up there with as a top 1 or 2 is that if your rabbits are outside, they need to be protected from that rain. So not to say you can't keep rabbits outside in the winter. Certainly many people do. It's fine. Even in really cold climates, you can do it. Just, you would need to make sure that they'd have a roof over their cages. And I've seen a breeder who's been breeding for decades, who I've actually bought some of my breeding stock from. His covers are as simple as plywood over the tops of his runs of cages that overlap a little bit, so they give them a little extra protection from drips and blows. I would look at what you've got for a windbreak, keep an eye on things, make sure that rain and wind isn't blowing through the cages, blowing on them, making the animals wet. But if you can keep them covered, fed, watered, and dry with good air circulation, you're going to be good to go. Something else I often consider doing when we get weather like this is just putting a little bit of a boost in the water, and that would be Vet RX for me. So it's a combination basically of a few essential oils, supports upper respiratory health. Respiratory is the big risk, in my opinion, when you get weather like this. You know, the animals, they've got their winter coats. They're all set to handle temperatures. I don't like to see big temperature swings like this, not for any animal. It's a lot to ask of something to be, you know, 15 one day and 60 the other. That's a huge difference. But they will deal with it, especially, like I said, if you keep their essentials and the most critical things attended to. But a little bit of VetRx, it's not going to hurt them. I would just put a squirt in the 5-gallon bucket, then water everybody with it. It keeps the nasal passages open. It supports respiratory health. And then I also might put a shot of apple cider vinegar in the water for the immune benefits that can offer, and the additional vitamins and minerals that can offer too. I'm not saying this is going to save the world. I'm just saying these are a couple of precautions that are easy to do, that don't do any harm, that are a good idea to do at various times of the year, especially like the apple cider vinegar. You know, the authors of the Beyond the Pellet book, I think it was him who said he does like 3 weeks on, 3 weeks off with apple cider vinegar to cycle through. I don't use it that often. I do use it when I think somebody, you know, if I see a increase in sludge in the cage from the urine or something, just to help urinary issues here and there. More with the bucks. It's not so much an issue with the grow outs because they don't get that old. But, you know, that's it. It's one of those things, you just have to look at your personal situation, manage it, consider adding in a couple of those things, whether or not you think that's a benefit. I do firmly believe that these guys are going to be fine whether I do that or not, but again, can't hurt. But also do keep an eye out for issues like ear mites, even though it's winter. When it gets this warm and things start blowing, and the moisture, because ear mites don't live well when it's dry, but they do well when it's moist and humid. So I'll just keep an extra eye out for things like that. Keep an ear out, listen for sniffles and coughs in the rabbitry. You know, obviously we don't hear any, everybody's doing well, but especially in the days as we move forward, keeping in mind that, you know, tomorrow, I think we're only expecting a high in the 30s. And like I said, I think our roads, I think we're going to be a kind of a mess tonight as things drop down that cold. So it's going to be in the days after this where I'm really paying more attention to whether or not anybody had any impact of this. Do I expect it? No. But can it happen? Certainly. So, you know, these are the conversations and the questions that get asked a lot on the different forums this time of year. And so I just thought we'd touch base and have a quick video on that. We do have the kits that are coming out of the nest box. All 6 of them are out now. I just changed that nest box out to make sure that that is extra clean and dry and not harboring anything in it. They probably could do without the nest box. They are still using it and seem to enjoy cuddling it. And I did come in last night, find all 6 of them here with Mom up on the top for a little rest. So I decided to leave it in there, but I did take out all the bedding and put just fresh, clean shavings in there. It'll probably be out by the end of the weekend, but those are the types of precautions that you can take with your rabbits just to give them a little bit extra management to get through the ups and downs and crazy winter like this. If you have a comment or anything to add, go ahead and do that. Questions are welcome. Please keep them polite and respectful, as we try to keep this channel polite and respectful. And I hope you have a great day.